then we got in an argument, and then she took a whole Xanax.
Oh my God.
She was like, now I can't drive. I'm like, you did that on purpose. So then we were late to the airport. We almost missed it. And I was already starving. And we had a 5-hour flight ahead of us. And they were like boarding when we got there. And then I fucking went and grabbed all these random snacks in like the 2 seconds I had before the plane left us. I just threw shit in a bag, and then it ended up being like the worst shit ever. A honey bun, hot Cheetos, a chocolate bar, some Skittles.
Oof.
I had a tomato juice on the plane to fill me up and a coffee. And my stomach, dude, is absolutely fucked right now.
Yeah, none of those
Fucked.
things sound like they go together.
No, I feel like there's a war happening inside of me. I feel like there's some tension happening between my stomach and my heart.
Oh my God. And then has Texas prepared you for that a little bit? What are some of the differences?
Oh man. Okay. I will say I've picked up way worse habits since being in Texas already. I'm already smoking cigarettes.
That's so
And
quick.
I'm gonna stop. I mean, and by smoking cigarettes, I mean I'm taking a hit of a cigarette. I'm still like a pussy about it, but it's already too far. And then I'm drinking so much more. I've never drank so much in my life. But I've never been a big drinker. So like by drinking a lot, I'm like drinking probably the average amount for the first time in my life since college.
So you're picking up drinking again.
I'm drinking, I'm smoking, I'm texting. I don't know what you want to hear from me. And I say the N-word now. I'm just kidding. What do you want?
So
what do you
you're
want?
crushing.
When in Africa. Okay. Yeah. But no, it's been good, dude. It's been chill. The stand-up's been good. It's hot as fuck. Hot as fuck, and the girls are so hot. The girls in Texas are hotter than the girls in LA. I'll say it.
Okay, hot take.
The girls
hot
in
take.
Texas look better than the girls in LA. Every girl in LA is hot, but they all look like the same. The girls in Texas are all hot, and they all look different. They dress different. They're like, some of them are like cutesy blonde. Some of them are like unique looking. LA is very like standard one face. There's only 4 surgeons in the town. You know what I mean? Like
they got 4 cat faces down.
Yeah, they got 4. Like, do you remember like in the 90s when you would get a haircut and they'd have like the stock photos and you'd pick 1 through 5? That's the faces in LA. Like that's how many they have. But yeah, the girls are pretty hot in Texas. So I had to start doing hot yoga.
Doing hot yoga.
Finding my fucking breath, bro. Finding my fucking...
Okay, so she's zen.
Everything has a crack. That's how the light gets in.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my last lesson. No, that was my first. Okay, so I found this yogi. His name's Joel, and he's at Core Power in Austin. And he's like, okay, the thing that's cool, like when you do yoga, you go in, and most of the time you're being taught by like girls that had just done cocaine the night before. You know what I mean? Like they did cocaine and fought with their boyfriend all night, and then they're in like, breathe into the positivity. And there's this guy at my yoga spot. His name is Joel, and he is a true yogi. Old. I want my yogi to be old.
Yeah, they got to be old. And
Call me
look
crazy.
amazing.
That's like having a therapist in his 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not having a young therapist, and I'm not having a young yogi. You need to have gone through some shit. So my favorite yogi, he's like in his 50s or 60s. He's bald. You need a man that's lost his hair. You can't have a man that's a yogi that still has a good head of hair. It's the ego on that. You know? So he's bald. His name's Joel, and he brings in this rogue. It's like a It's like a miniature keyboard that like the back of it looks like a what's that?
Oh, like an accordion.
Oh yeah. It's like that with a keyboard in it. And he brings in one of those to yoga class, and then this kind of fucked me up. It's one of those participating classes where he goes like, everybody knows the song. I felt like I was in fucking Catholic church.
Oh, I hate
where he sings the song and everybody knows the words. They're like, bida fito fiti. And everybody knows it except for my dumb ass. And then he plays a little harmonica and he says different phrases. And the first one he said, everything has a crack. That's how the light gets in. I love that one.
Love it.
And then the last lesson was right before the supermoon. And the whole yoga session, he goes in and out of like, it's like a sermon, dude. So you're doing hot yoga and he's like teaching you the poses, and then he'll go back to his piece of paper and he'll be like, the supermoon is tonight. And you know how like in church they'll do like whatever's going on, it'll be like the sermons about that. He does that. So he's like, the supermoon is tonight. Sometimes the moon, we love a supermoon. It's so big. I'm trying to remember how he said it. Obviously, he said it in a smoother, cooler way. But he's like, we love the moon. It's so big. It's so nice. And it has so many different phases. And sometimes it comes in and it's a tiny little sliver. And sometimes it's whole. And he's like, and you're the moon. You come in all different phases. Sometimes you're smaller. Sometimes you're bigger. Sometimes you're brighter. Sometimes you're dim. You're always whole. No matter what you can see.
This Yogi's getting so laid, right? Like,
dude, he's getting his dick sucked off, I think. Like, how could you not? How could you not fuck that man?
Yeah, that sounds great.
He probably has the Coke girls that I'm talking about. They're probably texting him all night for arguing.
Yeah.
Exactly. WYA, Joel.
Where you at, Joel?
Where you at 3 a.m. to Joel? But he's good. And yeah, dude, I'm trying to think of anything.
That's cool. Whenever you're doing the hot yoga, does he like I remember I've only done hot yoga a couple of times. Like I remember at first thinking it was lame that they like go around and they like fix everybody.
Oh, that's my favorite part.
But yeah, then you feel left out.
Yeah. Yeah. I have another girl that's really good at yoga. Her name's Sayla that I go to, and she does that. She only picks one person per class to touch.
Yeah. See,
so then it becomes like this weird thing where I'm like, am I gonna get picked today? And when you don't, you're like, oh, you like kind of feel left out. It's pretty fucked up. The emotional turmoil yoga can put you in when you don't realize. But it's been good, dude. Get my little sweat in, walk home. The homeless people are more scared in Austin.
Okay.
Because they know you have a gun, maybe. They just know, like, they might get shot. And that it just helps. I think that, thought process just, like, I don't know, makes them think twice about acting fucking crazy.
I do like that.
Yeah. And what else is good? I don't know. I went floating down a river, which was cool.
Oh, that does sound fun.
The river float fucked, dude. The river float fucked.
And then so what are you doing to like prepare for that? Because it's like how far do you go down before you're like, okay, now we have to get back, or how does that work?
So I read it was 3 hours. It took us almost 5.
Okay.
We floated for almost 5. And it was so funny because when I got a big group together, it was like 16 or 17 of us. And when I first was telling people, they were like, 3 hours is too long to be floating down a river. And I was like, maybe. But I got them to come. And then by the time the end of the 5 hours, we were like, how do we get back in and back up? Because it was like so fucking fun. But yeah, you just go, you pull in, you fucking grab your tube, you pop into this lake, and 3 hours later, you pop out. This is the part that's sketchy. So we're floating down the river. We're having the best time ever. And then towards the end of it, right when everyone's perfectly twisted, the mushrooms, the acid, the drinks all kick in. We're having the best time. We're getting towards the end of the float. I'm not kidding you guys, for the first time in my entire life, I see real Nazis in the flesh.
At the river?
In my eye at the river. I didn't even know they could swim. I did not know. I thought they were land folk. I didn't know they were water folk. So, yeah. I mean, and when I say real Nazis, I was like 20-something-year-old kids playing like some serious Nazi music, which, by the way, Nazi music, ass. Some Yankee Doodle dandy ass fucking ass music. If you're gonna be a Nazi, fix your music. You can't show out with some I don't even know how to do it, but it's bad. And so they started playing Nazi music. They stopped themselves on the river, so everyone's passing them, and they kind of bank themselves. Like, there's a bunch of rocks that if you hit, you kind of stop. So in a train, there's like 10 of them. They stop. And one black guy with them, which really, I don't know. He was a real Uncle Adolf, if you know what I mean. Yeah, dude. Yes. And they started playing their music, and they started thumping their chest and doing the Nazi symbols and stuff. And I'd never seen it in my life. I never seen that. And then, this is a sketchy part. I'm with hella Jews. Listen, I'm a girl of diversity. Anytime you see me hang, you cannot say that I am like genuine. I can genuinely say I'm not racist. Like, there's not one race I hate. Actually, that's not true, but I'll keep. I have my favorites, okay? I do have my favorites. I don't think I love every race equally, but I don't hate any race. There's no race I look at and I go, I hate them.
Okay.
Okay? I do have my favorites. Don't we all? But but listen, this is what I'm saying. I carry about 5-6 Jews with me everywhere I go. I have that thing on me. That, how can you compare a Jew to a gun? That 22. You know, I got that thing on me. If you see me and I hang out with my friends, when I get married, my wedding picture is going to be diverse. You ever see a wedding photo and every person is the same? You should be embarrassed if you're posting a wedding photo and everyone's white or everyone's black or everyone's one race. You should be embarrassed. That would embarrass me. You should have more friends that are different races. It's so much fun. So I keep a 5-6 Jews on me. So we're floating down the river. My Jews are up ahead. They missed the Nazi thing. I'm like, thank God. A couple of them caught wind and they're like, we're floating out of here. And I said, we're good. No stoves in here. We're good. Like, I got you. I'm Puerto Rican. I'll fight. Right. So then to get back up the river, I didn't know this part. And I didn't really research this part because you go down 3 hours. So you're 3 hours away from the car. And I'm like, fuck. So we're all fucked up and we're like, I don't know why. I just follow all the other people in the tube to this area. And there's like this thing. And we get on this bus. It's a school bus. And they just open the doors and we get on the bus. And I'm like, cool. Let's go. We go to the back of the bus. Me and 16 of my friends, my 5 Jews, a couple black guys, a couple whites, a couple Hispanics, an Asian. I keep it fresh. So we're in the back of the bus, and then guess who gets on the front? The Nazis.
They come on the bus?
They come on the bus. And then the bus starts going, and the driver's going like, I mean, this must have been the drugs, but it felt like she was doing 89 on the highway. Like, the winds. And then I start thinking, I never read about a bus. Did I just lead my Jewish friends?
And then you guys are going to get like Texas Chainsaw
Dude,
Massacre.
I was like, now we're going down so far. I'm not kidding. We're driving down the highway, fast speeds for over 20 minutes. And I'm like, how far did we float? Now I'm like, is this a trick? Are we getting taken somewhere else by these Nazi boys? And turns out we weren't. We were just getting taken to our cars. But that's how easily you could fall into a trap, people. And yeah, that was the story of my first Nazis.
Oh, God. So
Baby's first Nazis.
Such a relaxing day turned into like, are we getting followed by
Are
Nazis?
we gonna die? Did we get on their bus by accident? What the fuck? And again, Nazis is a very loose term because this is the spectrum of what they were. At minimum, they were Reddit Nazis to real Nazis. So somewhere there. But they had the heart and the passion for it. So
okay.
I think that's all you need to be a Nazi. You gotta have a little heart, a little passion, a little oomph for the love of your nationality.
Yeah, stuff like that is so
I
crazy.
get it.
I thought I read something today that the kid that shot at Trump, they looked at his last search history and he spent like $1,500 on OnlyFans on one girl.
No, what girl?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
I would love to know the girl. I feel like it would be a black girl.
Yeah, right.
Why do I feel like it's going to be a black girl?
So this is a kid.
This is the face of a kid that loves black girls.
I can see
that
it.
wants to get smothered with a BBW. All right, guys, let's take a second from the pod to talk about our sponsors, bro.
Guys, if you're like me, you lose weight and then guess what? The weight comes back. You lose it again, it comes back again. If this cycle sounds familiar to you, there's a better, more sustainable way to lose weight.
I know you guys have heard of Ozempic and Wegovy, and all those brands are really hard to get a hold of. I don't know how people get them.
But Ro makes it possible to access GLP-1s and start your journey ASAP.
If you can't find Ozempic or Wegovy, which you probably can't, it's so hard to find, Ro is here to help. Through Ro, you can access prescription compound GLP-1s with the same weight loss ingredients as the brands that you already know.
You can see if you qualify from the comfort of your own home. This means no scheduling a doctor's appointment, no commute to the doctor's office, and no waiting rooms.
No commuting, no traffic. You just do it from home. 1 to 4 days, you're prescribed. It ships right to your house.
Go to ro.co/thisbitch. Memberships start at just $99 for your first month. Medication costs are separate.
That's ro.co/thisbitch.
Go to ro.co/safety for black box warning and full safety information.
Compounded medication is not required and does not receive FDA reviews or approval, prescription only. All right, let's get back into the show. Let's see. It's unclear what kind of porn. The Daily Beast Insider says it's not unusual for people who commit these kind of heinous acts to have an interest in explicit and often extreme material. Okay, don't shit on porn. Like, let's not compare porn to a shooter. Okay? Sandy Hook shooter allegedly had an interest in pedophilia and possessed Well, that doesn't really make sense to me. The Sandy Hook shooter was a pedophile?
Yeah, right. Like that. I
Wouldn't he want more options?
Yeah, like why? Like why would he want to shoot the kids?
Hey, you hate what you love.
That is probably true.
Investigators learned about Crook's final search for porn after the FBI's Operational Technology Division in Quantico, Virginia, examined the suspect's encrypted Samsung cell phone. Well, he was using a Samsung. That's very school shooter. Samsung's a school shooter. You have a Samsung? No.
You had a green text bubble, though, and you're just like, I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah, you have a green text bubble. We should be checking these people's trunks. There's something. I've never met an Android user that didn't have something off about them. Can I say that?
Yeah, I'd say that was pretty on point.
If my boyfriend was on OnlyFans, if I found out my boyfriend was paying for OnlyFans, like, I know a lot of girls know that their boyfriends use OnlyFans and they're okay with it. But
really?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like pretty normal. Like to some girls now, they're like, it's just like porn. For me, it seems a little more personal than porn. I don't know why. It's like a girl's like profile you're jerking off to, like a specific girl that can message you. Well, porn stars are a little further away. Like you can jerk off to a porn and not communicate with the girl. Or find her Insta. You know what I mean? Like, old school porn is different, but paying for an OnlyFans. If my boyfriend, I found out, was paying for an OnlyFans, I'd find out how much he was paying, and he'd have to give me like 10 times as much every month. Because you're not paying me the equal amount you pay this bitch. You're going to pay me a heftier amount because I'm your girlfriend. Then you're paying for some other bitch?
Yeah.
I'd start adding up how much he spent and how much he owes me from that.
And then it's got to be so embarrassing to have like the log of like towards like, so you're into feet and like her dressed as a rabbit or like.
Listen, as someone who's learned from her mistakes, you don't want to know the porn your boyfriend watches. Just stay out of it. Like, even if it's innocent, it hurts. It's like, I can't think of a porn that I'd want to see my boyfriend watching. If she doesn't look like me, it pisses me off. If she looks like me, it'll piss me off. If it's like something weird, I'll be like, you fucking freak, you know? Like, but you know, I don't know. I just get so weird about that. But I don't know. Oh, my boyfriend did something incredible recently.
What did he do?
Well, first he pissed me off.
Okay.
We went to the lake. And I handed him my keys because I forgot to keep them in the car. I said, can you put this in the car? He heard, can you put these in the car? Well, he also had my phone in his hand. So he walks down to the parking lot before we go paddleboarding on this lake when I just bought myself a waterproof thing. And he takes my phone, he puts it in the car. And I go, where's my phone? He goes, you just asked me to put it in the car. I'm like, no, I didn't. And he's like, yes, you did. And I'm like, I didn't, but it's fine. I was going to take it with me. And he's like, you don't need it. My phone melts in the car. Austin heat. Don't leave your phone in the car. It melts. The inside completely melts. I need to get a whole new phone. So I'm out of a phone for 3. So then I try to be a cool girl. And I go, I'll get it fixed tomorrow. I have the whole day, but I go, I'll get it fixed tomorrow. The next day, like, you know how shit goes. Shit came up. Oh, Sarah was in town. We had to record, and a bunch of stuff happened. So, and that was really annoying for Sarah too, because the whole time she was in town, I was like, "Can you text Chuck for me?" Or like Chuck would be texting her like, "Can you tell Kim the spaghetti's ready?" And Kim would be like finding me at Mitzi's like, "Kim, I've been looking for you to tell you your bison spaghetti's ready." And so it was driving her nuts. So I was like, "I'll get it fixed tomorrow." I took an extra couple days. Then I was living on an iPad. It was a whole thing. So then I was about to go to the show, and I said, "Babe, I'm going to my show. I'm not going to have a phone. I'll hit you up from Sarah's phone." And this man said, "You can take mine for the night."
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'll say that again, and if we can get a he said, "You can take mine for the night." Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a proposal. That's a Puerto Rican proposal. I didn't take it. I decided to be a cool girl and say, "It's okay, babe. I'll figure it out." But the offer stood for me in my head. He collected himself a couple brownie points because on that river trip, and my boyfriend's a really nice guy. You've met him. He's like a very nice guy. He's like never wants to be. He will go out of his way to be nice to the point where it inconveniences us daily. He's so nice it pisses me off regularly. I'm like, "Why would you? Now we're gonna be here for 40 more minutes." He's like, "The man and his 16 family members needed to check out before us." Like he's like that kind of person where I'm like, "No, we have a Snickers bar." Like, you know, he's a better person than me, straight up. And I've never seen him be mean to anyone. And when we were on the river, we were, like I said, we went with a big group of people, and some of those people brought their own friends, you know, that I didn't know. There was like a few, "Oh, this is my friend," and there was one girl there that was like a friend of a friend. And I've already been told before that this girl has asked about my boyfriend. And those people have been like, "No, that's Kim's boyfriend." So she knew. She was even before we moved there, I think she was told. And so this is a whole nother trip where, and I don't care. Like for the first time in my life, I'm in a relationship where I trust the person. So it actually is like a big relief. And girls can have a crush on him. Like it doesn't really bother me. But we're floating down the river, and this girl, her eyes start burning in the water because she's got like light eyes, and they start burning from the sun, and she's having trouble with it for like 30 minutes. And my boyfriend's wearing a cowboy hat, and at one point I hear her tell him like, "Oh, I should have brought a hat. My eyes hurt so bad. That was smart of you." And he goes, "Oh, you can wear it." Like he's like the nicest guy ever. He's like, "If your eyes hurt, you can wear my hat." So he gives her his hat, which I'm fine with. It's like he's being a sweetie. And then I'm kind of like just floating down the river. And then I'm like, "Hey, can you throw me a twisted tea?" And he throws it to me. And I hear her go like, "Oh, you have twisted teas?" And he goes, "Yeah, do you want one?" And he hands one to her. And then she floats over to grab the twisted tea, and like a mermaid on a rock, pulls herself up to his tube and is like, she has his hat on, and she grabs the tea and she's like, "You have a hat, you have a tea, you have everything I need."
Oh, what a bitch.
And dude, the way he snagged the hat off of her head, it was like, could have almost hurt her. He ripped it off her head. Her hair went everywhere. And he was like, "Yeah, well, you can only have one." And like kicked her off of his tube. And she was like all wet and like flailing. And you could tell like no one ever did that before. And she like swam away very quietly. And it was like, you know me, I'm like the first one to be like, "Ha, bitch." It was so intense that I was like in the float, and I was like, do. Like I floated away like I didn't even see shit. But yeah, he won himself some real brownie points with that. Guys, if you're listening to this, next time a hot girl flirts with you, be kind of dismissive in front of your girlfriend. It will get you fucked and sucked. Not to be vulgar. But the cowboy hat snatch will replay in my mind for years and years to come. It was intense.
Yeah, it sounds like
it was intense, and I can tell it wasn't for show. He was genuinely annoyed that she wanted to do that, and I was like, that's some real loyalty, bitches. I'm telling you. Get a man who will snatch a hat off a bitch. And you'll never go back. You'll never go back. Have you ever dated a girl where she like was so jealous or like stood up for you or something that you were like, whoa, this is hot?
Yeah. Only one time did I ever have a girl kind of like that, and then I didn't expect for me to like it. I was like, oh shit, but like also like I was like, yeah, don't fuck with her. Like,
yeah, it takes you back, right? It takes you back, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? I like that.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, you care. This is cool.
Because let me tell you what, these hoes. They're insatiable. If you a hoe and you're truly a hoe, well, there's a difference. There's a difference between, oh, I've been with my high school sweetheart and then I'm 32. It's my first time being single, and like someone that's a hoe at heart. You know what I mean? Like if you're sleeping around, you're having fun, it's different. But someone that's a hoe is what I consider someone that puts dick in front of everything. DBE. Dick before everything. That's a hoe. It's a DBE ass hoe. That's what we should call them. DBE hoes. DBE dick before hoes. Everything hoes. They'll do anything for dick. It doesn't matter where the dick. It could be your sister's boyfriend's dick, your mom's husband's dick, your best friend's dick. They'll go for it. Insatiably uncontrollable. And those are the ones you got to fear. You got to snatch the cap right off them hoes. You got to kick them to the Nazis in the river, if you know what I mean. You got to put them on the school bus of fire. You got to get them out of here. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, and then
yeah, I also think like jealous girls are more like tactful. Like a jealous guy will just like ruin the day, no matter what. It just feels like, oh shit, like jealous guys, like we have to leave now. Like
a jealous guy needs to chill. Yeah. There's something weird about a jealous guy, but even a little bit's okay. I do like every once in a while. My boyfriend trusts me too, but every once in a while I see him peek over at my phone when I'm texting just to see. And I do like that. And he doesn't say anything. And I think he's just genuinely trying to see what I'm doing because he's being nosy and doesn't actually think anything's. But I do like just a little. When Jason Momoa comes on the screen, I like for him to go like, you fucking like that, huh? You know, like a little something. A little something. Or he'll go like, close your eyes, whore, you know? And he'll... I need a little something to know that you care that I'm looking at another man. Every once in a while, I'll scroll on TikTok and I'll see a thirst trap, like a dude like with abs, and I usually just scroll past those. Like I'm not like to the point where I stop at hot guys and go like, ooh. I'm just like, I don't care. I'll stop at a hot girl before I stop at a hot guy, to be honest. But if he's sitting next to me, every once in a while, I'll let it play a little longer, and then swipe. Toxic, gotta stay toxic. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know.
A little bit to keep each other on your toes.
A little bit to keep each other on your toes, you know?
Okay.
Keep things exciting. Keep it fresh. But yeah, what else? I almost had I had to fucking scrap an entire podcast. Oh my God, my family's so annoying.
I heard a little bit about this.
Dude,
what happened?
They're so annoying. Okay, so my mom and my aunt, when COVID hit, I wrote this TV show, a reality show about my family. And the whole premise was like, I was a comedian on the edge of making it, then COVID hit, and now I have to move back in with my family. Watch me survive trying to stay funny while living with my family in a lockdown was essentially the thing. And we filmed all this stuff and like, you know, nothing ever came from it, but my family was so excited about it, specifically my mom and my aunt. That was COVID, and they've not stopped talking about it since. Every time I come back into town, these motherfuckers, can we do the pod? Let's do a podcast. Oh, we have the best stories. And I'm like, okay. And this time I did it. I set it up. I went to my aunt's house. I called her. I was like, let's do a pod while I'm in town. I only have a few days. She's like, cool, let's do it tomorrow. I go over to my aunt's house. Her and my mom are hyping this pod up. They're drinking. They're giving me prerequisites of crazy stories. I mean, crazy stories. I found out that my aunt was with this guy who's my cousin's dad for most of my childhood. And I found out on that podcast that my mom fucked him first and dated him for 2 months first. Oh, and then my aunt stole him and then went and had a baby with him. And I never knew any of that.
And they just kept it like a family secret for this
family secret, dude. And I was like, how could you look at your husband knowing your sister fucked him? And she's like, I don't know. I didn't care. Like, okay, so there's a bunch of good stories like that. And they were hyping it up. They're like, we're coming. tomorrow. So then I only bring, because I'm traveling, I'm going to Tokyo. So I only bring a backpack, and we only bring the camera with 2 lav mics. Lav or lav? Lav mics?
Lav mics.
Lav mics. And then my aunt's going to be there, so there's going to be a third. So I have to reach out to my mom's friend, who, now that the episode's scrapped, I'll give him a shout out on here, raw surf on Instagram, who let me borrow some of his equipment. Thank you so much for that. I hope your doggy's doing good, and if not, I'm sorry. But Raw Surf, check out their page, show them a little love. They were really great, Raw Surf, and they let me borrow some equipment. So I go through this whole thing. I have my mom reach out to them. They let us borrow some equipment. We go and pick it up. And then my aunt calls that day, and she's like, I can't come today. And I'm like, okay. So we have to reschedule the equipment thing.
Okay.
I only have 3 days at home, so it's a whole day scrapped. I canceled going to the beach. I was gonna go surfing. I do all the things I love to do when I'm in Florida. Go eat clams. My favorite thing to do is sit in the sun, eat some steamed clams with lemon and butter, and have a Pilsner. That's all. That's all I want to do when I'm there. I miss the whole day, and then I'm like, but it'll be worth it for this podcast. So then I reschedule the fucking podcast for the next day, and I tell my aunt, like, Titi, you got to come tomorrow. Like, I rescheduled. I scrapped my whole day, and she's like, okay. So then word gets around to my family that we're hanging out. So then my cousins are calling, my other cousin's calling. He wants to bring his kids and meet up, and my other cousin and my aunt, and everyone comes over. So then I order a bunch of pizza for everyone. We have a great day. We record the podcast. Oh, and the stories. I mean, this podcast that you'll never see, the stories, dude. The shit that was being told was wild.
Oh,
Wild.
man.
They told a story about a cockfight. I think we've brought up the cockfight before, but it was firsthand rendition of the cockfight that my aunt and my mom got accidentally stuck into, and they went to my aunt's boyfriend's farm, and there was a cockfight happening, and they were scared to go onto the property because they were like, we just wanted to say hi to like you and your family, and he's like, come in, come check out the fight, and everyone's like, no, and my mom like stayed in the car while my aunt went in to use the bathroom. And while my aunt was in to use the bathroom, the police storm the cockfight. The word gets out that there's a cockfight happening, and the police come in, and my mom's at this like barbed wire fence. She's shut into the property, and the police come in, and they're like, oh, who are you? And she's like, I have nothing to do with it. And they go, don't move. And they run to the back. And my mom says she just sees a bunch of Mexicans like running, flipping over things, like rolling on the dirt, jumping the fence, like Mexicans everywhere with roosters in their hands that are bleeding. And this was like real deal cockfights. Like there's cockfights where like the birds just fight. This was like one of those like horrendous ones where they tie knives to the rooster's legs, and roosters kick each other in the chest when they fight, so it's just like stabbing. And yeah, it's like really brutal and horrible, and all these people are running with their bloody roosters, and the guy tells my mom like, don't move. And then my aunt, who's on foot with my little cousin, who at the time was like 9, sees the police. They jump the fence into the woods. My aunt says she's running into the woods away with my cousin holding hands. They're both crying like, oh my God, everyone's busted. We didn't even want to be here. And she says at that moment she heard boom. And then she sees my mom's Astrovan fucking flying down. She had busted down the fence to the property to escape the police.
Oh, of course she did.
Yeah. And all the horses and all the chickens were running loose from this farm now behind her, and the police are coming. And she says she sees the police, and she pulls over when the police are coming up, rolls down her window. My mom did some criminal and some burglar in a cartoon ass move where she pulls over while running away, sees the police coming, stops them. They roll down the window, and she goes, something crazy's happening down there. Like they went that away. She literally they went that away. And the police were like, thank you, and flew past her. And then she keeps going. And then when she pulled over, because my mom's boyfriend she had given them a ride there. My mom's boyfriend, or my aunt's boyfriend, and my aunt, she had given them a ride there in her van, and he had all this stuff there, but she didn't know what he had. And she said when she pulled over and opened the trunk, she found a whole box of knives and hay. She's like, I had everything in my trunk to incriminate me as a cockfighter, and I didn't even want to see it or be there. So yeah, they told the craziest stories. And that was nothing compared to what they told. Like the shit they told me, I think might have been mostly illegal. Which goes to my next part of the story, so we record the amazing hour-long podcast. They're fighting over who fucked whose boyfriend and telling crazy stories about, like, I don't know, whatever. They told they told the most inappropriate story. Oh God, I don't even know how to repeat this. Of when they were little and they played doctor with the neighbor. And they used to have syringes that they'd take the needles out of and they'd fill them with water and use them as water guns. And the neighbor would squirt water in each of their assholes. And then they would like water queef out water as a bit when they were like 6. And they were like, that's how we played in Puerto Rico. And I'm like, that's child sexual assault, I think. I think that is a crime or something. But yeah, they used to squirt water in each other. Never mind. So the story is like I'm saying, they were unhinged, they were crazy, and I'm telling the best ones that I can tell. And fucking then we this is so annoying. So then the podcast happens. I'm like, great, I'm gonna start uploading it. I put in the thing. I start uploading the Dropbox like a good girl, Xavier, on Sunday.
No, but you text me like, yeah, it's coming. I'm
yeah,
like, great.
dude. And then the next morning I wake up and it's not fully uploaded. That thing happens again where I recorded it in too big of a file, which I got to figure out while I'm here how to not do that. And it's not uploading and I'm like getting frustrated with it. And at the same time, my fucking aunt texts me and she's like, hey, can you cut out all the parts where I talked about blank blank? And I go, yeah, no problem. I'll bleep out his name. I'll bleep out everything. I was like, I could put a sensor over your eyes. We don't even have to see your face. She's like, great. I want to be anonymous. Calls me back 5 minutes later. She's like, can you just take it down? I don't want it out at all. I'm like, bitch, you begged me. I could have just recorded my podcast last week, Xavier. She was like, no. We'll do one. She begged me to do a podcast. Begged. Showed up, got drunk, ate the pizza, recorded the pod, and then didn't want it out when it was done. So the whole pod's scrapped. I'm here fresh with a stomach ache, nearly shitting my pants from LAX with the food I had on the plane. And now we're recording this one. All because my aunt, I mean, it could have been the podcast of the year, what they were saying. I was like, dude.
I was excited. Every time you have your family on, it's such a good one.
We're going to have to cut clips from it or something because it can't go like left alone. But it was really fun. And
if she ever comes around and wants it bleeped, maybe we could do like Patreon only or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we can find something in there too to release anyways. But yeah. I had fun either way. It was a good time. We went to the beach and we went to the beach during a storm. If you've ever done that, it's incredible. So cool. Oh, it's so fun. If you hit it right, it was just a rainstorm, no like thunder or lightning. But if you do that at the right time in Florida, it's the best time to go to the beach. It's cloudy, it's sprinkling, it's still hot, but you're not sweating and like there's no one there. You have the whole beach to yourself, and it's fucking great. And we. What else did we do? We canoed a bit, and we fucking.
That's cool. Is your sister liking being back in Florida?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she's just kind of. It's so funny. After moving out of LA, how long have you been in LA?
I think I officially just I think I like technically moved here last year, and then
that's it.
Yeah, and then I got my own place like 2 days ago.
Wow! Whoa! Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you.
Fuck yeah, dude! That's sick. Yeah, the thing about LA that I've noticed about living in Austin, and my sister said she noticed when she moved back, is that there's a trauma that follows you, a big city trauma. Where like I'm in Austin now, and I'll need to go to yoga, and I'm like. It starts at 9 and I'll be like, I have to get there at 8:30. I have to find parking. I have to figure out validation. Like traffic's going to be a bitch. And you kind of just go. And I keep doing that, like that nervous, like I got to do this. There's not going to be enough room. Because we're in LA, we're living in a city where it's like, there's not enough room for everyone.
Right.
They're literally, you're constantly making a plan to get there on time so you can finagle the spot from someone else and you guys can trade a parking spot. Like, it's like a constant, like, in LA, even if you want to do laundry, you have to go get if it's a Sunday and you want to do laundry and you need quarters, you're not going to the bank to get quarters now. Every 7-Eleven, they'll be like, I'll give you $1. You have to hit 4 7-Elevens to find enough to wash and dry. And then you do it. And then the dryer, your apartment complex doesn't work. So you'd need to double the quarters anyway. So then you have all the wet clothes and you take the wet clothes and you bring it to your apartment and you put it outside. And then a homeless person takes, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's like a constant struggle just for basic necessities here. It's like, it really is like this place, if you're not strong, it will spit you out. You have to be strong to live here, like mentally. And yeah, now I'll go like to do the yoga class or whatever. And I'll be like, I got to do this. And then I'll pull up and I'm like, where do I validate? Where do I park? And they're like, we have a lot. There's plenty of parking and it's free. And it's right next, and everything is like, you pull in and there's just a free parking spot. The free parking is hitting for me.
This does feel like you're getting over trauma. This is like, you're never gonna fucking believe it.
The free parking is doing something sensually and sexually to me. It's doing something inside of me that I never knew could be done. But yeah, it's been great. And it's a little cheaper and the tax thing is nice.
That's always good.
Which, okay, can I admit something dumb?
Sure.
And I don't really want to do this in front of Charles. When I say the tax thing is nice, I don't really know what I'm saying.
You just know you're getting some
like
sort
when
of benefit.
I know that I'm paying less in some way, but when they say there's no taxes, does that mean when I buy a candy bar and it's $1, it's $1 and that's it?
No, there's no state income tax.
Okay, so they're still taking my money.
There's a federal tax.
When's the federal tax going to go? That's what I want to go. That's what I thought when I was moving. I said, oh, if it says $1, it's $1? But you mean no taxes as like you're not paying taxes at the end of the year when you pay?
Separate taxes on your income for the state.
You don't pay separate taxes on the income for the state. Oh, so when you do your taxes normally, they have like the taxes and then they had like the California taxes.
Yes.
You're saying that there's only taxes regular and there's no Texas taxes. Well, that don't matter anyways because the big one is the big taxes. This is it. They're trying to tell you you're getting something you're not. Am I wrong? Am I actually saving money?
You are saving money, I think. But
You're not living in a welfare state now. That's taking all of your money.
And then, so what? You're in a studio right now, and then
Yes.
and then the place you're going to is like
It's a 2-bedroom.
2-bedroom. Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's like essentially a 1-bedroom and a loft, but it's like a 2-bed. It's like a pretty true 2-bedroom.
Okay.
The loft is gonna be. I mean, the loft is like I think a little bigger than this room, and it's upstairs. I'm gonna make it a studio. It's like kind of like the shape and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Well, I'll have to come visit. I hope you guys.
You got
come out
to. Well, we got a bed for you.
Oh, cool.
You can come crash with us.
That'll be fun. I can finally hit up all my Austin friends that are just like, you gotta come.
We got to go on the Nazi float.
Yeah. I want to see this river, and then hopefully
We got to
get
go on the
bust up
Nazi
some
float, but
Nazi
you got to be careful towards the end. The people get weird, like I said. They start getting a little funky towards the end. Listen, in their defense, by the end of the river, I didn't really know who I was either. Those guys could have been liberals by the beginning of the river and came out Nazis by the end. You change on that river. Something happens to you spiritually, emotionally. It didn't go the right way for them. I became better, but to each their own. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck went on. All I know is Nazi music sucks worse than EDM. It's some of the worst music I've ever heard in my life. It's like old fair music is what it sounds like. It's like
old fair for sure.
Yeah, it's like a lot of trumpets. Racists love a trumpet.
Yeah.
And cymbals. You know, they love a cymbal. If you hear a cymbal in a song, and I'll gladly stand up next to you. If you hear that shit in a fucking song, you know that person said the N-word in the last 30 seconds. Because the cymbals, they're a symbol for something. And it's the N-word. And it's the N-word, okay? I don't know. But yeah, besides the racists and the Nazis and the heat and the whores, it's been really good in Austin.
Nice. Nice. And then are you guys eating? Do you do all like the fun stuff? You eating all the good barbecue?
Dude, when you come, we got to take you to Terry Black's.
Okay, this is what I want.
We got to take you to Terry Black's. Terry Black's. Shout out to Terry Black. Shout out to Jason at Terry Black's. They fucking hook it up. Oh. They hook it up for us. They have black margaritas, the meats. I've never eaten so much meat in my life. And I went to college at UF. Sorry, babe. And the food is fucking incredible there. I'll tell you what they need. Austin really needs some good late night food, and because there's nothing to eat late at night. There's like the food is like actually kind of insulting at night. I don't know. I guess like the like fat country dudes that make like the brisket all day, they don't stay up past 9. I don't think their hearts can take it because there's no food, no good food past 9. They have to rest for the next morning. Their arteries have to rest. And that could be better. And what else are they missing? The food. What else is it that we were saying, Chuck, that they needed? I can't remember. Well, yeah, they definitely need a beach. These people are missing a beach. But you know what? California's missing out on the beach, too. The beaches here, they're beautiful. The beaches here are like the women. They're beautiful, but they have no fucking substance. Yeah, like, you can't get in them and swim. You can't actually enjoy yourself with them. But they're fun to look at and cool to take pictures of, and they look good in a picture. You want to go like, Mom, look what I was with today. You know, like the beaches in LA are just like the women. They're just like surface level beautiful, but ice cold on the inside. You know, and Florida beaches are like the women in Florida. They look a little warm to the touch, but boy, are they fun to get drunk in. I think that's my episode. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Kim Congdon Takeover. If you're watching this, I will be in Japan tomorrow. I'll be in Japan tomorrow. I'm going to be doing Roast Battle September 13th through 15th. I will also be doing Kim Fest at Skank Fest. Make sure you come out for that. I'm coming to DC with Sarah Weinshank in November. Check out my special, Childless MILF. I've said it so many times, I thought I was saying someone else's special. I am tired. Check out my special Childless MILF on YouTube. Check out my other podcast with Sarah Weinshank, This Bitch Podcast. And thanks, Baby Zaves. Shout out to the Comedy Store Studios for having me. I miss being in here. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.